Those are interesting looking clouds, but they're not pink. Of course, it's a little early. Usually the pink shows more closer towards the end of the day. So this is an encouraging sign. So, looks like we're making progress. Though it looks like that could be a new cocky or some sort of a bomb. Interesting sky. Look at this. Looks like a bomb. Yeah, right there. Especially there, that looks like some sort of a bomb right there. See? Yeah, it looks, I don't know, some sort of a weird bomb. Here's another view. You can see kind of like off in the distance. I don't know. Maybe I'll go back this way. Looks like a bomb right there. Sky is still pink. I don't know if we can pick up on this or not, but it's still pink. Yeah. Yeah, camera's making it look like a different color from what it really is, but it's still pink. You can pick up a little bit of the pink there. We don't have that bitch defeated yet, but we'll keep hitting her. This is a battle we cannot afford to lose. We cannot allow this evil Antichrist to reign over the world. If she is the Antichrist, she will be reigning in the tribulation, probably as a transgender man. But until then, I plan on giving her hell. See that lady there? She's got a dog not on a leash. Not on a leash. Probably a Angelina Ballerina Jesuits. You can see a little bit of it. The sky is normal color, but the clouds are pink. So she's still doing her business. And all these cars are going past the speed limit that are driving here. I had to run across the street to cross it. See how fast they're going? See how fast they're going? Well, that one's going slow. But believe me, when it's time for me to cross, they're all going past the speed limit. You should arrest them all. New cocky. Right there. See that? That's a new cocky. She's going back to more traditional Jesuit methods, but I am noticing the same yeast the yeasty symptoms, but they're a little bit better than 2 days ago. So apparently my lightning bolt and slingstone bombs or slingstone videos are helping. But she's as stubborn as hell, like Satan, her leader. So we're gonna have to just keep hitting her, man. Keep watching those videos. We got to bring the bitch down. Here's another interesting cloud formation. As you can see, the sky's not pink though, so we're making progress, folks. Keep watching those videos. She's hitting me, but her hits are not as strong and effective as they used to be. Of course, she's never going to give up. So until we cage her, and she's the Antichrist and cannot be killed, so caging her will not be an easy matter. But I can assure you that when you're watching those videos with the slingstones and lightning bolts, we are doing her damage. Okay, folks, we need to keep on watching those videos. I made some lightning bolt and slingstone videos for everybody to watch, and when you watch them, Jesus is extending my Gail shield and my lightning bolt powers, so that if you will watch those videos, it's like strengthening my lightning bolts. In other words, well, let me tell you how I figured this out. You know, I'm a writer, and I write about Jesus Christ and Satan and the Antichrist and a lot of end times topics, end times according to the Bible. We're in the last days. Perilous times shall come. More men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, unthankful, haters of good, and all that. We're in those days. And, you know, when I saw Angelina Ballerina come on the scene and just swoop down and just crush right through my Gail shield, when I was obeying all the Gail commandments, and she was able to just go in there and get Matthew McConaughey and Gerard Butler, all she has to do is show up, take down her top and flash her breasts at you, and she's got you.
you become one of her brain control victims, and off you go into her harem, or whatever she wants to do with you. She actually just literally takes over your brain, and she can make you want what she wants, and not necessarily what's best for you, but what's best for her. And I just got kind of peeved at God about this, and I wasn't sure how to handle her. The only advice that Jesus gave us, so he did rescue me when she broke through the shield, because we said, Jesus, you got to help us. We're no match for this woman. At that time, we didn't know she was the Antichrist. All we knew was that Angelina Ballerina had strange powers, seductive powers, and she was very powerful. So, and Terrance and Brent got on Skype and said, hey, Gail, hide your dildo because she wants your dildo. So we tried to do that, and she broke through the shield. I have a long video about that if you go back through my YouTube. If you go to gabrielchana.com/foxnews.html, I'll have a link for that underneath this video. So I just couldn't understand why God would allow this. We found out later that apparently Zack Knight had allowed her to get his Antichrist powers, because she promised to come back and rescue him. And I think at that point he may have lost it, because he was stuck in a semen bubble after my Gail shield defeated all of the Zack Knight Jesuits in August. And I said, Jesus, this is so unfair. How do we deal with an Antichrist who can take over our minds just by looking at us? If she can get, Jesus himself said, if she got close to you, Gail, you would do the same thing Matthew McConaughey and Gerard Butler are doing. You'd be making love to her and loving it. He said it would be horrible. He said that's why he showed up. He showed up as a dildo, but his face was up at the head, I think. And he just kind of kicked her off and flicked her over to the West Coast towards the Los Angeles area. And then he left. Basically, Jesus does not like to interfere if he thinks we can handle it on our own. And the reason for that is he did, when he first showed up to introduce himself to me and my men, he was rescuing us left and right from Satan and killing off Zack Knight Jesuits. And we had a case going with Camilla Alves. He would just go in there and zap out all the Jesuits in the courtroom, and they'd burst like bursts of blood. And then the case was over. I mean, there was no case if they're all dead, It was like the Lord was grand jury, judge, and executioner all in one, So we were just thinking, wow, this is great. Jesus is on our side. We're going to be okay, And then I guess because Jesus was doing that, it encouraged Satan to up his game. And we had a Valentine's service, and Satan showed up, and he took over the service, and he took over the brains of my men and made them all go gay, and they all started making love. Everybody in the church started making love to each other. Satan's got very strong brain control powers. And I said, oh no, Jesus, come rescue us. And we prayed and prayed. And then Jesus showed up. This is the first time I dealt with Jesus one-on-one. He showed up. But before Jesus showed up, Satan put himself into Zack Knight and made Zack Knight the Antichrist. At that time, Zack Knight was our enemy. And Zack Knight turned all the men gay. But then Jesus showed up and beat up Zack Knight and scared him away. And I remember Zack Knight saying, Jesus is beating up on me. But sneaky old Satan, he found a way to get me. See, I didn't realize, at that time we had brain-to-brain communications, and it was just between me and my men, and none of the Jesuits had hacked into the servers and impersonated any of my men yet, so I wasn't expecting it. And Satan's good at surprise attack. Well, what happened was Zack Knight hacked into the brain-to-brain servers, and he impersonated Jesus to me and said that he wanted to make love to me as Jesus. And because Jesus was totally not what I expected, and very unabashed and talking about sexual things and stuff, I thought maybe it was the real Jesus. So I do recall that he was kind of wearing me out, which is not like Jesus. He usually isn't like that. But finally, he convinced me he was Jesus and that he wanted to make love to me. He said he was going to make me pregnant and keep the pregnancy on hold until the millennium. That way I could never get pregnant by Zack Knight. I didn't know it was Zack Knight impersonating Jesus. He did a pretty good faker too, man. And he made love to me, and he made me pregnant with Satan's black devil semen. And he was lying to me and saying, well, in the Song of Solomon, they say Jesus' semen is black. That's why he talks about his bride being black and all this. I forget everything. But anyways, he tricked me. So Jesus had to show up. He aborted the babies, and he said, Gail, I will never, ever use computer technology to talk to you. He said, I dislike computer technology. He said, if anybody comes to you in your brain and talks to you, it's not me. He said, I will never, ever talk to you using computers. He said, the only exception would be when you go on Skype with Brent Spiner, I will allow Brent to transcribe for me. He said, anybody else? He said, it's not me. And he said, Gail, because of this, I'm going to have to take some serious measures with the Antichrist and Satan, and we're going to set up a non-interference agreement. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell Satan to lay off and then not to do these tricks anymore. And the only bad thing about doing this is I'm not going to be able to rescue you like I have, like the past couple months. I'm going to have to lay off too. So my deal with Satan is if he'll lay off, I'll lay off. So Jesus said, basically, you all need to do the best you can against the Jesuits and the Antichrist using the gifts I have given you. And I found out that I have a Gail shield and I have lightning bolt powers against the Antichrist. Okay, when I was able to lead the Jesuit leader Zack Knight to Jesus at the end of August, and he's now on our side. He's got a very powerful semen. He has very powerful semen and a perfect penis, which he can use to shoot like a cocoon around Angelina, which is probably why she's hiding right now. To make a long story short, I was saying, Gail, Jesus, how do we compete with this Antichrist? I only have my Gail shield, which hasn't been working against her Jesuits, and I have lightning bolt powers, but I can't keep them going 24/7. And so I wasn't sure it was a good idea to shoot bolts on her, not if Zack was shooting his semen cocoon at her. But so anyways, the semen cocoon worked pretty good, which is why she's been in hiding since the Donald Trump rally. So to make a long story short, I was getting so overwhelmed with all these attacks from Angelina. I got furious at her. And I said, I don't care if I die, I'm going to take that bitch out. And I got so furious. Usually, Jesus said, whenever you feel like making a video, Gail, make it. That's usually me and you, working through you, trying to get things, my will done. So I just got furious, started making videos. Just made me feel good to just feel like I was beating her up. And then it just occurred to me, why don't I make a special prayer to Jesus and ask him to extend the power of my lightning bolts so we can hit her 24/7? And I found out he answered the prayer. It's happening, folks. So this is why he hasn't been interfering, because he knew he'd have to extend my lightning bolt powers and my Gail shield powers. We are bombarding the Jesuits right now with my Gail shield and the lightning bolts. They're being damaged. And I just showed you evidence. The sky's not that pink anymore. And believe me, she's been relentless against me. Brutal. So it's working, folks. So I'm sure Satan's complaining to Jesus and, hey, Jesus, you didn't tell me that she could make videos and make her lightning bolts and Gail shield so strong 24/7. So I can do more now. And Jesus is probably saying, oh no, Satan, I've been lenient with you. I'm allowing your Antichrist to show up and look at people and take over their brains. And that's because I knew I'd have to give Gail extra powers. And there's nothing you can do. This is totally fair, Satan. Your Antichrist has gotten away with enough. And Gail and I are furious. We're both pissed at you, Satan. And she's got full permission to use those videos on you. So, folks, let's give her hell. Keep listening to the videos. We will defeat that bitch. Jesus said Brent and I would defeat the Jesuits. Keep listening to the videos. She's going to try to get you distracted and to not listen to them. I'll have a link for the videos underneath this. If you go to GabrielChana.com, FoxNews.html, it's right there on that page. Keep listening to them. We are winning. Okay, you got to keep it up, though. Don't give up.